Welcome everyone, Jeff with Half-Assed Gaming. Coming at you today with a video on importing a truck into Blender and exporting it to another folder. This is all because of the Kenworth W900 from SCS conflicted with AMT's W900A custom. It's all the same folder attributes. So the game tries to read from the stock truck, but it's reading from the modded truck and so on and so forth. Generally, you get a lot of crashing and nothing really works very well. So I took to task in exporting it into a whole separate folder. So I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to do a couple of things to show you exactly what needs to be done in order to export properly. So I'm going to drag the folder over here right now. So this here is the ATS_W9. That's just the folder that I put it into. This is the entire truck. Everything that would be in that zip file is in here. So from here, as you can see, if you go to vehicle, truck, there's 1.5 million folders here. There's items from all different trucks. 389, the long, the W900, the K100, the DAF. It's using some mats from there as well. And so that's all fine and good, of course, but and it doesn't really matter in the end because most of those files are going to be included in one specific folder. We're trying to narrow this truck down to just the Kenworth W900, but we're not going to name it that. I've chosen to name it custom_W900 just so that it doesn't conflict. So let's go in. We're going to go into, since I've already done the truck, I'm just going to do one of the upgrade pieces just to give you an idea of what needs to happen. So at any rate, this is the folder structure. So and I'll show you at the end what the custom W900 does look like in the folder structure afterwards. It's a lot more compact, streamlined, no extra folders hanging out everywhere. So let's open up Blender. Go to Import. Now, always have to set your base path. In this case, all of the texture and materials files have already been transferred to ATS, so you need the ATS base extracted. Okay, so if you notice up here, I have my ATS files. That is the base path. So I'm going to set that. That's my base path. Now if I go up here and go to ATS mods and ATS W9, this here is the mod path. All right, so now I want to open an upgrade piece. So just for example, I want to move let's say one of the sun shields. So we got a bunch of folders here, and there's sun shields in all of them, And you can see, look at this. This one's got Sun 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. New interior, new 2. The same thing here. Also, you got 1 and 2 over here. You got 1, 2, and 3 over here. So it gets kind of confusing once you start trying to import things over, and they're not looking quite the same. And I'll explain that as I go through. But the W9, this here, just because I know from doing this already that these are the stock sun shields that came on this in the RTA version. There's no custom thing about it. It's just a small, and I'll just open it just to show you. It is just that right there, just the small little guy that comes off the top. All right. I'm gonna clear that out. Let's do this over again. Import PMD. All right. So we don't care about those two. We know they're already going to work. I just have to export them to a different name. Okay. So W9. These were the ones that were converted initially from other trucks onto the W9A before SCS released theirs. Okay, so these should all fit with no issue whatsoever. We just have to put these in a new folder. So right now we're talking about, we have Sun 1, Sun 2. Now, this is something that I did learn while I was doing some work the other day. All right, and I'm going to show you what that is. So this is Sun New. I'm going to import that. So this is the visor that I call drip. Basically, the inside here comes down to a point. Now this should already be set up. There's no need to move this back or anything like that. This is just an import export. But the trick is, what if I want to call it Sun 3? Because we have 1 and 2. But how do I export it to Sun 3, we'll say? Well, when you do export from here, now we got to go back to our mod folder. Now I want to put it in custom W900 up here. So say I wanted to name it, since I already have a 3 because I already did it, we will call this Sun 12. This right here tells Blender where you want the file. So if you leave this on model/Blender export, it's going to export it to this folder in the model folder, the Blender export folder. Well, the game's not going to know what to do with that because there is no model/Blender export folder. The game doesn't know what that is. Okay? So you need to type in here where you want this to go. The game does not know anything until you plug this in. All right? So you can name it anything you want, but you don't name it up here. This is not where you change the name. I don't know why they even have this here. I suppose it's to, it's got to be there for regular like blend 3D projects, so that's why it's there. But when you're exporting it, it always exports it as this name right here. This is the name. You can try to rename it from the export screen all you want, and you will never get a different name than whatever is right there in the data tool. So you can change it here. You can right click here and change it here. You can do whatever you want as long as it's not on the export screen. That's never going to change anything. All right, so what did I say? 14. So this is Sun 14 now. So you see up here, it changed to Sun 14. There it is. Right, so now we're going to do, I want to export that. ATS mods, custom W900. So let's also, don't forget to change the PMG version to 1.4x. So now let's show you, I'm going to show you now the pathing that we want to use. Right, so here's the custom W900. This is the folder that I've already created. I worked on this all day yesterday. So all this is done. I'm just showing you what happens, you know, what happened to me all day yesterday. So here we go. Vehicle. This is where these files are going to go. Truck, custom 900, excuse me, upgrade. Right, so sun shield, custom. So these are all the ones that we have so far. I'm adding 14 just because that's what I remembered was above where I was yesterday. Because if you write sun09, you're going to overwrite whatever this file is, and then, you know, you're not going to have whatever that sun shield is anymore. All right. So now that we know where it's going, I'll move that out of the way. Now you have to type in here. Do not make the mistake that I've made myself and many other people make, is you cannot copy the path from here. Do not copy paste this. Because look at the slash, okay? This is a forward slash, this is a backslash. Right? Totally different. The game will not understand what you're doing if you put it the other direction. So here we go. Slash vehicle slash truck slash upgrade slash sun shield. Also make sure you spell these things correctly, because that's always helpful. And then slash custom W900 slash. So this is going to export to the directory inside the directory you're in right now. So once I press export, you'll see in this window 14 show up. There it is. That is literally how easy it is to change the name of something that you want to export. It doesn't have to be numbers. It can be whatever you want. If you wanted to name this sun drip, or you know, whatever you wanted to name it, you know, if you want to know the name afterwards, because that's helpful when you're trying to go through and you're trying to create shape files, which I will show you in a minute, to address these custom, you know, sun shields and fenders and whatever the case may be. If that makes it easy for you, renaming it something other than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you want to name it sun drip or sun drop, or you know, sun small, sun large, whatever it is, you can change all those things in Blender by exporting it to a new folder. I mean, you can export it to the same folder, but I was trying to clean this up. This is the whole point. Making a new name, new folder, get everything straightened out. Okay, so that's how easy that part is. Now we're going to go back into the definitions, and I'll show you. So here we are in the custom def vehicle truck custom accessory sunshield. So here's our shapes that we have so far. So in the case of this one, I would normally open this, copy this like so. New file. We'll call it shape drip.sii. Open it up, paste that in. So this is going to be shape drip. You can see custom.w900. That is the new name of the truck, so it does not interfere with the SCS model Kenworth W900. And I'm going to call this drip visor. It's going to be $1,000. And the interior and exterior model, this is going to be called what? I named it 14. There it is. There's my shape drip. As you can see, this is the file structure we were just talking about. That we had to put in the export file, the export portion of Blender. And then you just have to create this accessory to point to that model. That's really the extent of this exercise. It's just very time consuming. There are a lot of custom parts. You know, I only know how to do this now, so it seems simple when you're watching me do it. But doing the entire truck took me 8 hours because I was learning on the way. So if this is something that you want to take on, you're going to have to be prepared to be sitting down and learning for many hours at a time to have any idea of what you're doing. And I still barely have an idea. Barely. Well, that is the video for today. I hope that you did learn something and that you can come back and reference this in the future if you do decide to do a little dabbling. It is definitely an excellent time spender. And you can sink many hours into it, and but in the end, you definitely feel accomplished when you see it on your truck and the game. So I can't discount that part of it, for sure. Thank you, as usual, for the subscribes and the likes. If there's something simple that you'd like me to take on in Blender, please let me know. I'm not doing any 3D modeling. I don't know anything about it, but I will show you what to do with existing parts and things like that. So if you have questions about those, I will try to tackle those as well. Please put them in the comments. Let me know what you think of the video as well. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you for the next one.